Comfort is the enemy of expansion. But it feels so safe to stay in our comfort zones. The reason why you might not be making the progress you want, or why you aren't where you want to be in your life, is because you're too comfortable. I'll be the first to raise my hand to say that I have traded so much possibility and potential for comfort. But rather than comfort, I actually was just operating from a place of fear. Fear of loss, fear of being judged, fear of responsibility, all sorts of different things. So if you're not getting the results you want to get in life, I want to equally have some grace and sharp compassion. I want to say that it's beautiful and resilient of you to prioritize finding comfort and safety. Of course, it's gotten you to where you are today. But I want to be sharp to the essence of you that knows that you're here for so much more. And you're short selling yourself because it's hard to step up past that edge. It's hard to be seen in ways that are new and exciting, but big, right? It's all too easy to fall into the ingrained habits that are keeping us small, keeping our story one of constraint and limitation, and not really in being right about why we can't realize our potential. So in this video, I want to break down why being too comfortable is the enemy of expansion, and I want to resource you and help you to kind of dance with your growth edge so that you can really start to see more of the you that you want to be manifest in the areas of your life that you want to see expand. You want to grow your one-person business. You just want to become a more confident, embodied leader. You want to X, Y, and Z, Comfort is one of those things that we try to maintain at all costs, right? Because why would anyone want to willingly be uncomfortable? The problem is, look to your life and look to the seasons of comfort and tell me if those were seasons that you really found something revelatory, that you really fundamentally shifted, something clicked inside of you and you became someone new. Comfort is just flatline, homeostasis. And I would argue that over time, comfort actually is numbing because the soul yearns for more. Your heart wants to open more. And at some point, comfort takes a certain amount of closure to life to maintain. Comfort takes a closing to curiosity, a closing to pure possibility, a closing to opportunity into other people. And comfort certainly isn't helping you grow your business if that's something that you're interested in. We have to be okay getting uncomfortable. We also have to be really okay making other people uncomfortable, because when you step up and you dance that edge, it's gonna challenge friendships, relationships, sense of belonging, because it's like, you're the odd duck, dude, what are you doing? Like, sit down, There's that Australian phrase that says, we cut the heads off the tall poppies around here. So when we kind of dance that edge, we want to be seen. It's scary, and we actually might experience some amount of rejection from the world. I believe that those things are tests, right? When we desire to grow and to expand, we have to dance beyond our comfort zone. We have to push that edge. We have to realize what is an authentic boundary and what is something that I'm just afraid of. What is something I'm afraid of exiting my comfort zone. Huge difference there between something that's an authentic no and something that I'm resisting because I'm afraid of it. There's a lot of growth and medicine inside of that. So if you're too comfortable in life, or if you don't even know if you're too comfortable in life, a great place to start is, do you feel like you're the same person as you were 6 months ago? Do you feel that in a year from now your life would be more aligned with what you desire? And if the answer to those is no, you're too comfortable. You're stuck in some patterns, in some habits, and chances are, actually not chances are, guaranteed there are some emotions and some stories stuck inside of you that are wanting to be felt through, that are wanting to be acknowledged, and are wanting to be blasted and smithereened into a more expanded, confident, curious version of you. I don't mean like risky. Stepping out of your comfort zone does not mean you need to move across the country. It very well can be that, but in my life, things have been like, hey, how about just slow integrations? if I'm comfortable because I have a routine, how can I just change my routine? What happens if I show up somewhere else? What happens if on the weekends I go traveling and I go on a van trip instead of just what I'm used to experiencing? You know, what if I push that edge? What if a week on the road alone is an edge for me? Can I create space for that? You know, it doesn't have to be huge. It can be, I'm gonna pick up a part-time job because I feel like I wanna support my community more, and I feel like I've just been so stuck in my everydayness. This will shake me up. Whatever that is. Pushing your comfort zone involves you really acknowledging the fear that you're operating within. We all operate in these fundamental fears that are reinforcing the story, rather the versions of ourselves that we show up as in the world, you know. When I'm comfortable, I'm operating from a place of fear that is saying, I'm not good enough to desire more. Or who am I to desire more? Who am I to want to create that for the world? And inside of that, there's a fear of being rejected, a fear of being seen, a fear of being a fraud, a fear of being all of these things, right? And that's a huge can of worms, you know, like that's scary to open up. So I want to acknowledge that it can be really scary when you're wanting to expand, but you just feel like you're so ingrained in this habit of safety that it's scary as heck, because it is. It's literally a death to the version of you that you currently are. Whenever you dance that growth edge and step just one stride beyond your comfort zone, that is registered in your body as a form of death. This is not safe. This is not who you are. Who you are does not question the status quo of your life. This is alert, alert, red flag, shut down, fear, fear. All of these things start running in your body. So you're damn straight that it's going to take a lot of determination and commitment and awkwardness, right? Real change is awkward because we're going against the deepest grooves in our system, right? So when we're too comfortable, we have to really square off with our deep fears. The fear of not being good enough, the fear of being successful, the fear of being judged, all of these things. Which, when we perpetuate these fears, whether we're trying to avoid them or not, we're actually living within them. Staying comfortable is actually a manifestation of the fear of not being good enough. It is a fear of the success, so we're constantly living in the fear, separate from what we want, but with all the suffering of being in the fear. I mean, come on, like that is such a shitty predicament that we all tend to find ourselves in from season to season. So I'm really interested in helping you break out of that. So there's probably one thing in your life right now that you know is an edge. That edge could be for me, this edge was actually like applying for jobs a couple months ago. Like I used to say I'm psychologically unemployable and like I just can't work for someone. But then something shifted. It's like, what if there's actually so much I can learn by working for an architect? Whoa, what would it be like to apply for a job and go through the interview process? Whoa, I'm resisting that. That's scary. That's not who I am. No, like that's not who I am according to who I've been showing up as. But the version of me that wants to expand and be curious and grow and get out of my comfort zone, my comfortable little one-person business bubble, would maybe be that, would maybe benefit from that. And so I danced with that for a month before I finally went through the process of applying and talking to people and interviewing and stuff. So that could be one example. Another growth edge could be that you're going to say no. You're gonna say no to hanging out with the same friends on the weekends. You're gonna say no to things that don't nourish you. You're gonna become okay making other people uncomfortable. You're gonna get comfortable making other people uncomfortable. That can be an edge. Or the edge could be, you know what? I've had this idea for years and I've done all this research to kingdom come and back and I haven't actually taken action. And my edge is to make that first phone call, to make if you've watched I was gonna say make a website, but if you've watched my videos, you know that you don't need a website to start a business, you don't need social media, you just need you. And you just need a willingness to show up authentically, and you need literally one piece of content, whether that's a flyer on the coffee shop or a post on your local neighborhood watch program, whatever the fuck it is. Go watch my other videos. That can be your edge, right? So there's one thing in your life that might be the edge. And how can you embrace that with just 10% more openness today? You don't have to go all in. You don't have to leap over that metaphorical fence like your life depended on it. Now, I welcome that. But that can also be too much, too fast, too soon, which can send you spiraling back to comfort, right? How a really, I think, thoughtful and sustainable way to approach your getting out of your comfort zone and dancing that growth edge is to dance it, right? I've been using this word, and this is what I mean by dance. By dance is, I mean, you can acknowledge, I don't know if I'm too tall, you can acknowledge where that line is and you can step up to it and meet it, and you can kind of feel like the energetic tension between you and that. And then you can kind of press yourself into that. I'm not gonna continue to act this out. Press yourself into that edge until you are moving with the edge beyond where it currently was. You're not trying to see how far past your edge you can get. You're seeing how you can actually bring your edge with you, right? So it's moving one step with your edge further than you thought. Feeling that. What does it feel like to start to be seen? What does it feel like to show up online more authentically? What does it feel like to only tell the truth and not dim my truth because it might hurt someone else? What does that feel like? And then allow yourself to integrate there for whatever period of time. I mean, it can be a moment, it can be a day, it can be months, whatever it is. It's different per the context. You'll intuitively know. This way you're attuning your nervous system and your whole sense of self to what it's like to, one, die to that old version of fear, and also learn to live and be alive in what feared you, in what you were afraid of, in the resistance. How can I be alive in this thing that excites me and kind of scares me? And then you can take another step further and move. And this is what I mean by dance, is you might find that edge. You might find the edge beyond the edge where you're like, no, this is too much. I need to take a step back. And that's the dance, right? You're honoring your body, but you're meeting it with some firmness, right? You're honoring where you might want to shut down, where you might be trying to start a business and you're posting on I don't use Instagram, but this is an awful analogy, but I'm gonna use it anyways. You're posting on Instagram, you're showing up, you're offering your services, you're giving so much value, and the world is just not there to meet you. You're like, what the heck, I'm showing up, and you can feel your body close. Honor that intelligence, but instead of retreating, maybe just kind of pause, right? Maybe really pause and question, how can I get into more of my authentic expression to where it doesn't matter what other people think. It doesn't matter what someone else says or if they believe in what I believe in. This is on my heart, this feels good, so I'm gonna show up. Okay, sweet. What if it didn't matter if somebody resonated with what I have to say? Oh, I would want to say it anyways, you know? So then you can re-engage and push that line. And life will meet you with resistance. And I do think that life tests you that way. It's like, oh, you want to show up? Okay. We'll see if you really want to show up, and I'm going to push back against you. What I've seen in my life and in the lives of all of my creative entrepreneurial friends and all this is, when you commit to bringing something into the world, the life is gonna test it to see if you got skin in the game, to see if you're committed to really bringing that into life, you know? Because life doesn't want shitty half-assed ideas. Life doesn't want, oh, I'm gonna do this real quick to try to make some money. I've tried that so many times. Here's this thing I'm not very passionate about. Let's see if I can make some money. Well, I wasn't really fully in, and life was getting hard, so I dropped it. It really has to bring you alive to be all in, right? And I think really this is sort of the age of Aquarius, this sort of energetic era that we're heading into, where it's like, you gotta have skin in the game, and what you create has to be genuinely of service to someone, not just to self, right? Life knows when you're trying to bypass the system and just do something for personal gain. And yeah, some people might find success doing that. But I would not recommend that. I would recommend that you're offering to the world as something that brings you alive because you just genuinely love to share it. What you receive in return is amazing. You should and will be paid handsomely and compensated handsomely, but it's gonna take some commitment to get there, right? So all of this to say, like, that edge, knowing where your growth edge is and knowing that it's safe to feel uncomfortable as you meet that is gonna be such a powerful skill for you in this season. So much can change with just some dedicated, say 3, 6 months, a year of experimenting with pushing that edge in different ways and seeing how far you can expand, you know? It's not about how far I can get past my comfort zone for a season and then burn out, crash and retreat, which is what happens all too often. It's how can I sustainably keep expanding and expanding and expanding, and what I like to say, becoming more edgeless. How can I become so expanded in these capacities to where I'm edgeless, right? Obviously there's always an edge, but to where I'm so much bigger that what's in my life is, my edge doesn't even, it's so much further beyond the threshold of what I can see, where my edge becomes such a big thing and where I'd have to play so big to meet that edge. Like, that's inspiring, and that's a challenging life that I want to live. So you're too comfortable, and that's okay. Thank yourself for creating safety and comfort, but know that if you really want the juice out of life, you gotta get comfortable being uncomfortable. You gotta find that edge and you gotta dance with it. You gotta roll around in the mud with it. You gotta gaze in the eyes of your edge. Love it, but push it. Push it, expand it, kiss it, embrace it, love it. All of those things so that you can expand your capacity, so that you can really get more of the results you want to get in life, because life sees that you have the capacity to grow, to expand, to meet your fears. And that is what life rewards. Not your intelligence, not your skill, your willingness to embrace your fear and meet your edge with love, compassion, firmness, devotion, all of those things. So get out there, find that edge, dance with it, and let me know what happens. I'd love to hear your journey. So thank you all. Stay so well. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.